Lawmakers are officially done with the legislative session. They passed several bills ahead of their midnight deadline on Wednesday. 9 News legal analyst Whitney Traylor joins us in studio to talk about some of the bills that passed. Good morning.
Good morning,
Thanks
Corey.
for coming in.
Of course, good to be here.
I love this fit, by the way.
You like this?
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you
very
so
nice.
much.
All right, so there's a lot to go over, and you need notes today because there is so much.
Yes.
What bills stood out to you? What do you think viewers should know about?
Right, so obviously I think the biggest one is the abortion access, which many states dealt with when in anticipation of the decision of Roe v. Wade. And so here what the legislature did was say that a woman, Colorado, you have a right to an abortion and reproductive rights, and the lower level governments can't impact that. So that was probably the most important. There was also a new bill dealing with the HOAs, because we've been hearing about how much the HOAs have been just egregiously going after folks and foreclosing on them.
That was like Green Valley Ranch area, right?
Yes,
okay.
That was the primary. That was one that got a lot of attention. They had done a majority of the foreclosures in Denver. So here there were actually 2,400 foreclosures since 2018. Wow. So this now caps certain fines and interest. It requires the HOAs to give significantly more notice and things like that. So that is a great bill. Representative Nikita Ricks sponsored that one. One other, June 19th is now a state holiday for Juneteenth.
Yes, yeah, that's
so
a big one.
That was a great one. And then I thought this was interesting. Coloradans who were conceived by sperm or eggs will now be able to identify their donor at the age of 18 if they so choose.
That is an interesting. Yeah. And then, of course, the fentanyl one. That one went very close to midnight on the deadline as well. That's a big one for us this year.
That's going to be a big one, and that's a severe penalty for a very minor amount of fentanyl, which we now know is quite deadly. So.
What about the criminal justice sector? Anything that we should know about that one?
Yeah, there were a few, because there's been a push to deal with cash bond and cash bail. So House Bill 1067 says municipal courts are required to have a bond hearing within 48 hours, even if it's on a weekend, so folks aren't sitting for days at a time. There was another one that passed, if folks pled guilty to a municipal offense because of a concern about immigration consequences, they can then now go back and take that plea back. So there's a lot of things that are dealing with very kind of low-level crimes on the criminal justice side. It
was a very busy session, and it's hard to keep track of it all unless you're dedicated to it. What are some of the bills that didn't pass that you think that should be mentioned?
No, I'm glad you asked. The one primarily is the ban of flavored tobacco.
Yeah.
That has just had such heavy industry opposition. I think Mayor Hancock had vetoed it here in Denver, right, similarly. And so that would have taken $25 million from the preschool program. So in a way that's good, but we know that these teens are being targeted on the flavored tobacco, so that was not banned. There was one on a concealed carry permit that said if you're 21 and older, you shouldn't have to have a concealed carry permit. And if you had one that expired in 5 years, it would be for the lifetime. So that was a little concerning to say that, anyone who's over 21 can conceal carry without a permit.
Right.
So that didn't pass. Phones, they tried to prohibit cell phones while driving, so that one did not pass either. So.
And the vaping one, the governor was saying that he was going to veto it anyway, so.
Right. I don't know if that's just the lobbying power or why that, on its face, it seems like that should be a straightforward issue, because we know that it's those types of tobacco products that are attracting young people to smoke.
Last question for you, and I think, some people at home might have been going through something right now, let's say with HOA or vaping, and they're like, oh, I need to know more about that. Where can people go for more information to learn more about the bills that have just passed that's going to affect them?
Right. Well, the Colorado legislature has a great website that breaks down all the bills in the text and things like that. I did, though, read a great article in the Colorado Sun yesterday that actually did a great job summarizing a lot of these bills. So there's places to go, but folks should definitely get educated, because you can be involved in the process, and we're busy, but this is, obviously voting, but paying attention to what's happening. And the other thing is our local elected officials, city council, state legislators. These are people you can actually get in touch with. I mean, they're super busy, but it's going to be hard to see our U.S. senator or a congressperson, but you can get your local elected officials, and they pay attention with just a few calls. They actually are pretty responsive.
I love that you mentioned the Sun, because sometimes if you go onto the government website, it's like a foreign language, and I think the Sun probably broke it down a little bit easier for people to understand.
For sure.
Whitney, as always, thank you so much. So great seeing you.
It's good to be back.
Happy
Good to
Friday.
see you.
Have a good weekend.
You as well. Thank you.